You're listening to Hot Sauce Sports with Mo Cohen, Peeze and Terry Tam.
I now know that I'm on with the big spy, depending on who's the captain of this ship. That's probably a bad thing if this podcast is supposed to go viral, isn't it?
Cordero Patterson, like grabbing some shanks, gentleman here. And I quote, "I'm a grown man. I don't need nobody blank in my balls, my face."
In my teenage years, I'd get back from high school, I'd smash 2 pizza pockets. Carmelo Anthony never learned you can't live life just smashing pizza pockets.
Because he lost a double bet, what I did is I cut a jalapeno in half, and I filled it with hot sauce. So he's going to have to slurp this down.
Why you give me a fucking banana, dude?
I'm not eating a banana. I'll rather piss in my mouth than eat these
Okay,
things.
so there we go. Stop stalling. Let's go.
Now, here are your hosts, Mo, Terry, and Peeze.
Welcome everyone. You're listening to and perhaps watching Hot Sauce Sports. I'm your host, Peeze, and I am joined by the equally handsome Terry Tam.
Equally,
if not lesser.
but I'm much better looking.
I don't know. The thing is, it's not factual, so maybe not.
But we don't base ourselves on facts.
That's true. This show's not about facts.
It's not about facts.
The reasons we don't have fact check are our producers, the Eagle and Master Control, as well as our graphicist, Duke.
What's up,
We
boys?
need a title. Like Duke, like Eagles, the Eagle and Master Control. Then I get to Duke is like, and Duke.
Stat guy.
No, just call me Duke.
Hey, Duke it is.
And it's not a graphicist. Graphicist is not a thing.
It is to us though.
I mean, this show's not about words.
Yeah.
I need the rest of the script, so please keep sending it.
Just send a freaking screenshot.
You got it, boys.
All right.
If only we did it on another platform.
Yeah, that was working fine for me.
It was so ugly I couldn't look at it anymore.
No one knows what we're talking about, and no one cares
It's
what we're
more
talking about.
aesthetic.
So
I have to use Excel. I'm so used to using Excel.
let's talk more about Excel.
Yeah, cool. Actually, I have a question for Eagle after.
Okay.
Because Eagle's very good at this shit.
All right. So, Khabib, Conor McGregor. Just when you thought we couldn't hear about Conor McGregor again, we did.
No, you'll always hear about Conor McGregor. Always.
Were you surprised? I was legit surprised immediately after retiring and being accused of sexual assault.
Yeah.
His
He's trying
name.
to stay relevant, right?
Yeah. So he came out and attacked Khabib's
But
religion.
what have we what has the media been talking about?
Conor and Khabib.
Yeah, but Conor, Khabib. Nobody's been talking about these rape allegations.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. So Khabib had made a comment about Conor's wife a while back. Said that she has no class because she keeps on coming back to you, and all this stuff. So Conor made a joke on Twitter, and even though it touched the wrong lines, it was pretty spot on. He said, because Khabib has a picture of him at a wedding. I guess it's his wedding, and his wife in his religion they have to cover up.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "You're married a towel mate. Your wife's a towel."
Yeah, your wife says a towel mate.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's not great.
But it was in response to Khabib making fun of his wife. So I get.
I mean, so
it,
like
maybe I'm not. I don't mind the joke.
I get it, but trash talk like 101
Yeah.
is don't go after wives and girlfriends.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're not supposed to, right? So now they're going back and forth, and Khabib's manager, who's another doofus, he's coming into it too. So it's weird because they call themselves gangsters,
Right.
but I don't know about you, but back in the day, gangsters weren't
Tweeting
Twitter fingers.
thumb gangsters.
Yeah, thumb gangsters, trigger fingers turned to Twitter fingers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure gangsters nowadays do use Twitter.
Well, they do. Yeah, it's weird. There's
And
a lot of
them
get
get
And then
arrested.
Takeshi 6ix9ine gets arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them
For-
get arrested for things that they post online, right?
Well, I've been threatened on Twitter.
By
Right.
who?
Randoms.
Oh yeah, that happens to us all the time.
Yeah. I'll be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, man. Why don't you go fucking die? All I said was that Kevin Durant's not in my top 5. That's all I said.
Wait, he's
I
not,
don't
he's
deserve
not in your top
that.
5?
No, we're not doing top. We don't do lists.
There's no list here.
No lists.
Those
I
are
don't
those
care.
are
I think
fighting words.
there's more than 5 people better than him in the
like
NBA.
right now.
Currently.
No,
There isn't.
No,
but
no.
it's okay. That's not.
So at the end of the day,
But people get so worked up about
Yeah.
what someone else thinks about a player
that they've
being
never
or
met
not
probably.
being in the top 5 of a list that they created.
That they've or of a player, they take really personal offense to making fun of a player that they've never met
Yeah,
and probably never will meet.
correct. And likely wouldn't like you anyway.
Yeah.
Because you're not talented, unlike they are.
Exactly.
So Oladipo's ahead of Durant. Is what
no,
you're
I
saying.
didn't say that at all.
So who's ahead of him?
Oh my God.
We're doing this?
no, we're not. We're not.
LeBron?
But do it.
LeBron?
No, wrong.
I mean,
Wrong.
Only the best player of all time.
But are we talking about this season right now?
I'm talking about today. If I had to make a starting five, Durant's not in it.
Oh, you're crazy.
I just don't like the guy.
I gathered. In the NBA,
Yes.
we're seeing him. Speaking of the NBA and sexual allegations, Porzingis.
We're flying all the way to Lithuania.
Or New York.
Or New York.
Apparently,
Or
so
Dallas.
the timeline's bizarre. It's apparently the night he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
When you tear your ACL, you become very rapey.
I hope not.
Yeah, because
I mean, I tore mine. I did. So
didn't want to.
the thing is, so he's being accused of sexual assault by a woman in his building.
Yeah.
Apparently, it happened in his penthouse, really early in the morning. Now details coming out, really raunchy details, where he essentially referred to the woman as his slave.
It's a shame.
Other words.
Allegations, right?
Yeah. So there are allegations, and like we always say, like let's wait to see what the rest of the story. Let's see what the story has to say as it unfolds.
Yeah.
His lawyer has since come out and say that initially the league didn't suspend him because of the extortionary nature of the accuser's claims.
Oh, really? So
But
she's
so-
asking for money.
Well, they say she's asking for, like, they're immediately on social media trying to discredit the witness. And it's the thing where people really don't like believing the accuser. Whereas, like, the way I've always looked at it is, if someone's going to tell it to me in person, I would be very uncomfortable saying that didn't happen to you, right? But we're comfortable saying that all over social media for someone we've never met.
Yeah, but in person, yeah, you can't.
But I would never say that in person, so I'll never say it on social media. I'll never say it on the
Sure.
show.
Think about it that way. If the girl's in front of you and says, Kristaps Porzingis
Rape me.
or molested me or whatever, what is the first thing you would tell her?
Okay, that's awful. You need to go to the police.
Yeah.
Is there anything I can do to help?
Sure.
And then it's not my decision. Like, we have a legal process for that. And the
Yeah.
legal process already doesn't handle it well.
Yeah.
There's no
Clearly.
way. There's no way guys like you or I can handle it well with far less intelligence.
But at the end, how did so Dallas knew about this when they took him on? So maybe there wasn't much to it. That's what I'm thinking of.
that's
Because Mark Cuban isn't the type of guy to let this go.
Like as if they had Dallas
but-
didn't have any issues with any.
Can you look this up? Wasn't there issues with Mark Cuban?
That's
people in
exactly
Mark
what I was
Cuban's
about to
office?
say.
Oh,
that
really?
they had problems in their own office and within their own organization
Like
with
people
sexual
in higher end
harassment.
management.
Oh.
And he wasn't on hands on at the time, and he wasn't paying attention, and there were a lot of things.
The problem is, however,
Pun intended,
not
hands-on.
that he was hands-on, and that he wasn't hands-on. People were hands-on in the organization. That was an issue.
Yeah, we just beat that joke in the mud.
Yeah. Well, because Eagle made it off air, and then Terry immediately reacted to it without letting me say it. He's feeding me the joke, Terry. That's how the show works. That's his job.
Well, maybe if he stopped feeding you.
Speaking of jobs, I would way less. Speaking of jobs, Robert Kraft,
Yes.
the most famous hand job in the world. at this
Blow
point.
job. I mean, hand job.
Well, we know it's a hand job for sure.
Is it the most famous hand job in the world?
It has to be at this point. What's the more famous hand job?
I'm on it.
Yeah. Give me top 5. Okay, you know what? I don't care about your top 5 list. Give me top 5 hand jobs of all time. That's important. That's a list.
I guarantee you there's something on the internet for it.
You should not Google this.
Or at least use like a...
Don't use the hot sauce work account.
Yeah.
Got some Pornhub going on here.
Give me a list, not porn. Give me a list.
It's going
That's
to be
all I
top
care
5
there
hand
is
job
an article from
compilations.
Cosmopolitan saying how to give a hand job.
Oh, Eagle. You think that there's Cosmopolitan on this list?
Number 5 is keep an eye out for
Most
sweet
famous
spots.
hand
sorry?
jobs.
His sweet spots.
Sweet spot. That's good. Feel free to drop in the other 4 as we go. Robert Kraft.
Most famous hand jobs. Do that.
Prostate massage.
Robert Kraft is saying that the FBI had previously rated this for a false bomb threat, and used that as a reason to plant the cameras.
That's what Robert Kraft's lawyers are saying.
That's what his lawyers are saying.
Not
Correct.
cameras, mics.
Microphone. Sorry. And
Which
so-
happens very often.
But my guess is, because this is a human trafficking case, they would have had the warrant to do so anyway, right? And they just use this as an excuse to not alert them so they can gather more
Unless
information.
they didn't get the warrant, in which
Unless-
case
yeah.
it's illegal evidence.
Which is what I think what they're going for.
But
Also,
so
why he would not plead guilty or go for a plea deal.
well, he's gonna plead not guilty
Okay, so-
because he's rich and old.
So
and
this is
like, there's a chance that he will the court case will take longer than the rest of his life.
This is what bothers
He's
me.
77.
This is what bothers me about our justice system, is that I can have a video. I could have put a video in a massage parlor, my bathroom, whatever. I see you murder somebody.
Mm-hmm. The Aaron Hernandez special.
Maybe, yeah. I see you murder somebody. It was put there illegally. It can't hold up in court because the video was put up illegally.
Because you didn't tell me, so therefore I killed somebody.
Exactly.
It's tough. It's hard to tread on the freedom to do what you like in a certain space. And then, but this is also illegal.
Yeah.
So we caught you doing something illegal by illegal means.
Exactly.
Which is difficult.
Fuck it. But anyway, so I think at the end of the day, he's going to get freaking called off.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen to Robert Kraft. He going to be okay.
But that's not the biggest item in the weekend news. And with that, we'll get to this week's headlines.
By the way, I started watching baseball. I'm enjoying it. It's so long.
I love watching baseball.
So long.
Yeah. Baseball's
What's
fun
long?
to watch.
Baseball. So
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, I tried. I got through 5 innings.
But
of it
I'm
yesterday.
enjoying it. I've been watching a lot of
Yeah.
Phillies and Braves, and it's like it's just so long.
I haven't caught the DAZN streaming product. They have a streaming product which is supposed to be like Red Zone. Carlin Gay told us about it last week. I haven't seen it.
It's it is available. It is
Okay,
available.
so maybe this weekend I'll check it out.
Hey, Duke,
Yeah, man.
come over and watch baseball.
Okay.
But the news. We don't start with baseball unless it's Alex Rodriguez. And his name, unfortunately, not in the news this week. The big news, of course, is Duke going down. You and I had them winning,
Yeah.
so you didn't know it.
I mean, I knew it when the tournament started.
Yeah, when they kept winning games by a point.
Yeah. Like everybody else. I think the jig was up.
So I was interested when we actually got to see. We actually got to talk to Carlin Gay, who knows more about basketball than he's forgotten more about basketball than we'll ever know.
Exactly.
But we got to speak to him last week, and he told us that he didn't think Duke would win. And on top of that, he said on this show that he thought Coach K couldn't coach anymore. He was done.
A lot of the commentators were saying that too.
But
That it might be his last year.
coaching never ages gracefully, right? Because coaches always have the ego to believe that they're good and they can keep it going,
Yeah.
keep it going. And we saw it Don Shula at the end of his career. We've seen it. We've seen it with countless NFL coaches that really did coach past their prime and didn't age well. Although Tom Coughlin's ageless, he turned Blake Bortles into something. But
At
we're seeing it
75.
now. We're seeing it now with Coach K.
Mm-hmm.
And let's hear in Jay Billis' words, courtesy of ESPN, what he thought happened and why Duke lost this game.
Cam Reddish didn't play against Virginia Tech,
Why?
a team they were very familiar with. But Duke had
tendonitis,
always
I
found a
think.
way to make plays at the end of the game. But at the end of the game against Michigan State, the last 3 possessions, Zion Williamson didn't touch the ball. And it's not that R.J. Barrett or other players can't make those plays. But I think toward the end of the game, you always want to have the ball in the hands of your best player if you can. And I think if you had a do-over, you'd want Zion Williamson to touch the ball more in the closing seconds of the game.
Listen, I've never been a basketball guy. I've watched it my entire life. I'm a fan, a huge fan.
That's why I'm on the show.
Yeah. But I don't think that Zion is more responsible with the ball than RJ Barrett is. Cam Reddish not being there, that's a good point.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't help. And Cam Reddish will probably be back next year.
The thing is, so I will agree that whether you have RJ Barrett or you have Zion Williamson, you have 2 of the top 3 players in the country with the ball in their hands at the end of the game.
Absolutely.
The thing is, you have RJ Barrett going to the basket and trying to make a play at the basket and getting fouled.
Yeah.
So
Bad luck.
why would you have if you're designing a play to go to the basket? Why wouldn't you have your most powerful player doing it?
Yeah. Okay. So about that, when I was watching the game, I noticed that the way that they were playing Zion defensively was insane. Like they always had 2 bodies on him all the time, arms up. There were times where it was almost impossible for Zion to even get close to the basket.
But you're
because of the way they were playing.
the best coach in the history of
But
college
Michigan State played an amazing game, and I feel like they're not getting any credit whatsoever for this amazing defensive strategy that they had.
Absolutely. Look, they did what Taco was supposed to do, and did to a degree.
Taco did.
to a degree. Like Zion still had a great game.
Yeah, 32
Michigan
points.
Absolutely made his life
Yeah.
a living hell for the entire duration of that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thing I will say, watching that game in entirety, my issue with Coach K is not even the last 2 minutes. Is their offense? They didn't have an offensive strategy. They didn't have offensive play calls.
No, they didn't.
It was a series of isolations where they would take turns. It reminded me of the first season of the Miami Heat, where it was like, LeBron, this is your turn on isolation. D-Wade, this is your turn on isolation.
Yeah.
Chris Bosh, this is your turn. And Carlin Gate, again, last week talked about how Chris Bosh had to change his game to fit and adapt that system. Coach K did nothing to make any of these great players adapt their system for this tournament.
I think it's true. It's a very good point.
I mean, you can't blame him too much, so in the sense that RJ Barrett did miss some shots, but he had made some really important shots at the end of the game, and I still feel like that game was a lot closer. It really came down to a couple of different shots. Like they got lucky two rounds in a row. Like they could have easily been kicked out of the tournament like weeks ago.
Yeah, but that's the whole point of the tournament.
And
right?
that's the thing people
Everything comes
constantly
down to the
forget.
last bucket.
They can't look. I get it. Coach K has won, I think, two championships. I think that's what he won.
No,
And the
it's
last
more
one.
than
No,
He's
I
been
think
to the
it's two.
Final Four twice in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
And he's won both of them.
He's
both
won
championships.
2, and it's been a while. Thing is that a lot of people they tend to forget how grueling that schedule is. There's a lot depending on that, on one specific team, and it's so hot and cold. Like I've watched so many teams get so hot in
It's
the
also not like football.
right.
Where
Correct.
It's hard. No, but
not
it's
like
hard.
football.
It's hard to
No, but like
strategize
the
against
playoff
these teams.
system
Man.
isn't like football at all. So like if you look at Alabama,
Yeah.
just to say,
Oh, you're
look
talking
at-
about college football.
yeah, college football. Yeah. If you look at Alabama, if they entered a 16-man tournament every year, they wouldn't win. They wouldn't have as many championships as they do. So that's my comparison. Is that Duke does well, they'll win the ACC, whatever, but they won't. If they get into the tournament, they're playing against teams that are just as good as them.
Oh
that
my
they
God,
never
absolutely. Because I feel like if they would have been matched up against Texas Tech, they would have had problems. Against Gonzaga, they would have had problems. They would have had problems against pretty much everyone across the board.
See. I think so too.
You know,
Anyway.
they had problems against UCF, and UCF wasn't exactly a great team outside of Taco Fall.
Almost closed it right at the end.
Yeah. And the team before was
That's too far back.
too far back.
Let's
It
move
was,
forward. Let's move forward.
Was it VCU? No,
It was-
VCU's not in this.
It
one.
was
I think it was Virginia Tech.
No, Virginia Tech
Virginia
was
Tech.
after.
Virginia Tech.
so,
Let's see what-
but let's move forward into the tournament because that's the past. Is this the worst case scenario for the Final Four for the NCAA?
No, why? Why would it
Well,
be bad?
because the Blue Bloods aren't there. Kentucky's
cares?
not there. The big story is like people that didn't care about college basketball tuned in to watch Zion Williamson. this year.
sure they watched them a lot.
We spent 3 weeks. We spent
Talking
a
about
month talking about Zion
Nah,
Williamson.
that's fine.
He blew up a shoe, and that's all we talked about.
I'm okay.
I almost want to put like his shoe deal in the script today.
I think that Michigan State has a big storyline. Auburn has a huge storyline. Talk about Virginia has a really good storyline. The way they've been playing Diakite and DeAndre Hunter. I mean, I love all the storylines that we're getting now. And
Well, DeAndre
I'm
Hunter-
kind of bored of the whole Zion shit.
DeAndre Hunter has even been sort of spotty a little bit
Yeah,
in the
he
tournament.
he had in foul
I
trouble.
feel like
last
his best
game.
game is
Hasn't
yet
hit-
to happen,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, like if you're betting,
It's coming now.
it's the time.
Yeah.
Texas Tech is a team I had going far, losing to Duke
Yeah.
in the Final Four, so I'm wrong. But I had them going far. I actually like Texas Tech a lot. They shoot so many threes. They set a historic rate for a like a top tier team
Yeah.
in shooting 3-pointers in an NCAA basketball season, which is
Yeah.
crazy. Which
Nice.
is teams usually at this level. It's not the NBA. You have big, fast, powerful guys that other teams don't have, so you use that to your advantage. Texas Tech, they defend well and they have a good offense. I think this might be the Red Raiders season.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't see
I'm
anybody,
really
I
excited.
don't see anybody beating Virginia. That guy, Kyle Guy, whatever his name is there.
I'm sorry. How did Virginia score 80 points? Purdue, check yourself.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like it's
They,
crazy.
they had to because of that dude Edwards was just like
He's
pouring
hitting
it
everywhere.
from anywhere.
He literally, I
I
swear
thought
to
he was
God,
Canadian, but he's not.
he could have pulled up from my house and he would have hit a three, no
It
problem.
was crazy.
He was,
But
he was on fire.
what a mental error he did at the end there
Yeah.
to give it to.
Well, just too
to
much of the
Klein.
game. Too much of the game was on him.
But like they set up the play right away to his hands with 12 seconds left in their own zone. Like it wasn't the other guy didn't even bring it up, set it up. Like everybody knew it was going to him, so they just said, "Fuck it, give it to him right away." Let him pass.
So the best part about this tournament so far is watching Duke fans cry.
I know.
I find that there's nothing
Yeah.
better for me than that
Yeah.
in life.
So
That
here-
and Patriots fans crying.
I was so torn because I loved, honestly, just the type of basketball Zion Williamson and Barrett and RJ Barrett play,
Yeah.
and Cam Reddish fine when he plays.
When he plays.
Just the way they play, it's like a bit of a throwback. We don't see that a ton
Yeah.
anymore, and so it was fun to watch. But then I was like, okay, well, it's win-win because we get to laugh at Duke fans,
Yeah.
which is the best thing. It's the only type of discrimination that's still allowed in North America today.
The only time ever.
That and making fun of Mike McCarthy.
Absolutely.
Mike McCarthy crying all over the place.
Why?
He couldn't pack up his stuff and leave like a gentleman. He was saying that he was disappointed in how he was fired. I love this, by the way. Coaches do this all the time. They're not happy with their treatment on the way out, but yeah, we'll cut a player mercilessly at any point in the season.
They'll bring you in
Yeah,
into the room.
yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
We've decided to cut you because you really have to rip it off like a Band-Aid, right? So we decided to cut you. But the thing is, for coaches, it's different because they don't have 32 teams to pick from. You know what I mean?
I guess
Because the teams have to pick him.
So the thing is, coaches' contracts are largely guaranteed. Players' contracts are largely not guaranteed.
No, not for, a smaller percentage.
Then we look at my favorite is and I always do this. I'll go back to college coaches. College coaches, they don't allow their players to transfer. They penalize them by forcing them to sit out a year. But if they leave to go to another team, they can coach
fine.
the next year.
Not
That's
all
fine.
teams. Not all teams.
I understand. It's becoming more and more regular for
There's
teams
actually a
to-
lot of coaching changes now in college basketball too. A coach from
From the Hurricanes, the Miami Hurricanes, he went with Temple first, and then
Manny
and then
Diaz.
Manny Diaz.
no
changed
basketball.
basketball.
What's his name?
So while you think of that, I just want to.
Yeah.
I wonder.
He's
I
going
want
to-
You
He's
can
going
speak in silence without.
He's going to Texas A&M.
Mike McCarthy is low-key going
The
through
Oregon
low-key going through a midlife crisis. I'll just read you
Probably.
this. Mike McCarthy, who is still living in Green Bay area, intends to be a head coach in
Jeez, why would you
2020.
stay there?
Has installed a high-tech video system in his home office and is delving into video research and data analysis in order to reimagine his office in anticipation for his next job. That to me sounds like a head crisis.
Head crisis. Yeah.
For a head coach.
crisis.
Eagle, you're a Packers fan. How did you feel about reading?
Eagle,
Mike
you're
McCarthy's
a Packers fan. Fuck off.
comments? Yeah.
I mean, does
No. Fuck off.
Oh, okay. Does he need all that video technology to stop writing ISO routes?
It was the most frustrating thing in the world is they keep making receivers look like great players. Devontae Adams, stop telling me he's a great player. He's
He's a good
not.
player.
He's a
He's a-
fine player.
he's a good
He's a very
that
good
Aaron
player.
Rodgers makes look incredible.
Jordy Nelson was a good player.
Maybe. Or was he just throwing to a shopping cart who is always open because Aaron Rodgers can get a shopping cart open?
Probably.
Pretty much.
Like
No,
Mike
Jordy's a good receiver.
Mike McCarthy got
Maybe.
The-
We
the-
don't know. We have no proof other than when he was with Aaron Rodgers.
Devontae Adams is to the Packers as Cole Beasley was to the Cowboys.
No.
No, because Dak
was more
Prescott is
important.
not. is
He was
not.
more. Devontae Adams is more important than Cole Beasley was.
I don't think so. I think it's anyone in that role.
Yeah.
The number
That's
one
what I'm saying.
receiver
Yeah.
in Green Bay system, where if you can, it's so it's the equivalent of me.
What about the years?
So I'm
they,
learning how to dance.
what about the years they had Jennings?
What did all of them do when they
Donald
left?
Driver.
Cobb,
Donald Driver.
What did
Nelson.
Driver do when
Donald
they
They
left?
all
Driver.
left at 35 years old.
And we're terrible,
At 35.
terrible. So I'm learning how to dance,
What do
Terry.
you want?
Eagle. How hot are you for Matt LaFleur, that new coach, huh?
I mean, I don't like the running game when you have Rodgers, so we'll see. But
No, I'm just saying because he's hot, and I know you
He's
find
literally
you
hot.
find
He's
him
very
gorgeous.
attractive.
He's a good
I
looking
find
guy.
him
I'm not gonna
gorgeous.
lie. I take a few shots.
Tell
right
us,
now.
man. Tell us.
So I'm learning how to dance.
You
I
can do
realized why I can't dance.
You
I
can't.
hit my mark. My feet always go to where they're supposed to do, and then my upper body doesn't know what to do. I feel like those are Aaron Rodgers receivers. Just get to the spot, and the ball will hit you. It doesn't matter how you get there.
You got to give the receivers some credit.
I will not, because there's no evidence that they're good.
Well, they
There's
caught
no
the
evidence.
ball,
There's no evidence that when they leave there, they're any good.
but they caught
Name
the ball.
one.
They caught the
Name
ball.
one.
They caught it.
Valdez Scantling is a guy who probably couldn't play in the AAF, which is folding, which we'll get to. And he's a guy who, for 2 weeks, Aaron Rodgers made a story that had our podcast existed, we would have freaked out about.
So Aaron Rodgers is.
How many times did you masturbate to Valdez Scantling?
I mean, once I found out who he was,
It's a great name, by the way.
it is.
Top 5 name.
So Aaron Rodgers has this way of making the third tight end on his team look good, just by floating it.
He had a fat guy wearing 82 one year, and like he caught like 60 passes.
Not 60.
Whatever.
Relax.
I know, for real, man.
The hate.
Where are we with the top 5 hand jobs?
Oh, top 5 hand jobs. I'm sorry. I fell into a rabbit hole of porn. So.
Eagle Cosmopolitan,
That
number
happens
4.
Well, I'm trying to find a good one because number 4 wasn't that great.
I can't think of any inside a movie.
I'm looking at Eagle's screen and it's just like dildos.
It says use both hands. If you've exhausted the one-hander, you can still get all fancy with 2 hands. Morse, who is the author of this article, says to try the 2-handed twist, which is when you stack both hands on a shaft, one on top of the
I'm
other.
going to tell you this.
Twist your hands slowly.
You
in
don't need to be
opposite
the whole
directions.
Nobody
Don't
in
need
this
to be the whole
room.
article.
Nobody in this room needs 2 hands.
Right.
Depends on the hands.
It's a very good point.
I'm pretty sure Mike McCarthy's extra mad because of how gorgeous his replacement is.
Because like I don't.
Because Mike McCarthy looks like a guy who feels healthy after he showers.
So because if I see
Pretty accurate,
if
I'm
I
not gonna
see
lie.
someone who's vertically challenged
Yeah.
with someone who's like regular sized, like I'm not gonna judge.
No, absolutely not.
So it'll look bigger and
Sure.
hands right there.
But I remember the time that the Raiders that hired Dennis Allen, and I was so convinced he was going to be he was going to change everything.
Dennis
just
Allen's a
because
good-looking guy too.
he's a good-looking guy.
The one thing I find interesting here, you said it's maybe because LaFleur's a better-looking coach, but there was the rumors that McCarthy was interested in the Jets position, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's upset that they took Adam Gase, who you can argue is not better-looking than McCarthy, and actually looks crazier.
It's not arguing. It's just facts.
But at the end of the
It's
day,
not even
at the end of the day, Mike
subjective.
McCarthy had a very successful career.
Yes.
because of Aaron Rodgers.
He won a Super Bowl and Favre.
Yeah. Okay. So you've been
Well,
given.
he didn't have Favre
2
for
great
too long,
quarterbacks.
for a couple of years.
Fixed Favre.
He fixed Favre by getting
And
rid of
then Favre unfixed himself.
himself.
Um,
So yeah, fuck Mike McCarthy.
So from
See,
the
if
green
he's
of the
gonna be in
Packers,
the NFL again, just depends on.
from the green of the Packers to the green of the Jets to the green, the most important green, the green jacket. The Masters is this weekend. You and I, unfortunately, are doing.
It's next weekend.
No, it's next weekend. Sorry, you're
Yeah.
correct. You and I realized we're doing 28 hours of play-by-play
Yes,
that weekend. It's terrible for flag football,
for a recreational league,
recreational flag football league.
which means that
How much?
we'll be
how,
streaming on our phones.
how many bad choices do we make on a continual basis?
This podcast is one.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Working for that flag league is 2.
Missing the Masters is the most
The
important one.
3rd, and we're not gonna be able to drink. I can't hear it.
Well, I'll be drinking the entire time.
I can hear it from your computer. It's not in the system though.
Are there anything? Is there anything about the Masters that has you hyped already 2 weeks out?
No, I just like Sunday. Sunday for me is it's always a fun day. I never
is.
really got into it, but it's fun to like sit down and fall asleep, wake up. Oh, let me drink a bit.
I find it is the best television package.
Really?
I am more excited about the Masters every year than I am the Super Bowl.
Can I just pause this to say you could have sent me this track and I could have played it during this instead of hovering your mic over your speakers?
Sorry, boys.
Awful audio quality. Awful audio quality.
What is this, amateur hour?
The news, and we'll do it this week, and next week we'll get into actual Master stories, but let's do the obligatory Tiger story. Does Tiger have a chance?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
Because he's playing in it.
fair. So by statistically, because he's
So
there,
I
he
don't know.
has a
I don't
chance.
know. What are his odds? What are they giving him? Who's
I'm
number
on
one?
it, I'm on it.
Who's number 1? Kuchar? No.
No,
Who'd be number 1? Ricky Fowler?
I'm not sure.
I'm on it, boys. Keep going.
I haven't placed my bets yet, so I don't know.
But I mean, it's gonna be like the regular guys are always gonna be on top. But
Got it.
yeah, go.
Roy
Who's the-
McIlroy is 8. He's
I was gonna say Roy's
he's
high.
8 for 1.
Okay,
Huh?
8-1.
8 to 1.
8-1
8 to 1. I was trying to find out the word in between.
8 for 1.
Sorry, guys. Murray McIlroy is 8 to 1. Dustin Johnson is 10 to 1. Tiger Woods is 12 to 1. Brooks Koepka is 14 to 1. Justin Rose is 14 to 1. Bryson DeChambeau is 16 to 1. Justin Thompson.
Where's Fowler? Ricky Fowler.
Ricky Fowler, I was getting to him next, 16 to 1.
I'm
And
gonna put
John
him
Ram. And finally, Francesco Molinari,
Ooh,
20 to 1.
20 to 1.
20 to 1.
That's a nice bet, actually.
Or for 20 from 1.
I think I'm gonna put money on Ricky Fowler, 16 to 1.
I mean, it's not bad odds. It'd be a tough field for him to win in, and a tough tournament for him to win in.
Yeah.
I feel like Dustin Johnson's become the new Phil Mickelson.
Oh, that's a good
Just
point.
sort of falls apart.
The
Like I don't believe in choking
forever,
in sports.
always a bridesmaid.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't believe in choking in sports so much, just because. No, because in a lot of team sports, it's hard to believe the reason that something happened was because the pressure of that moment was too
Yeah.
great. golf and free throws are where that golf, free throws, and field goals is where that happens. Even field goals, there's too many other factors. Just whether there's the hold, there's the snap.
Yeah.
So those are the only two places where mental frailty play in. And I hate.
But to me, as a kicker, you're paid to do one thing.
Yeah, but if the snap comes in late,
Adjust.
then they were paid for one thing. Long snappers also paid for one thing.
Choke, yeah. I'm not saying.
And
he
we
didn't
don't
choke.
ever know where it's wrong, right?
Well, because the guy won't be in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you guys hear about the story about Phil Mickelson telling country star Jake Owen to go fuck himself?
No, please.
Okay, so Phil Mickelson and Jake Owen were both at Roy McIlroy's.
Who's Jake Owen?
He's a country star.
Yeah, I get
He's
it.
at a wedding, and basically Jake Owen told Phil Mickelson, "You owe me $30 because that special that you put out was absolutely awful, and I wasted my money on that." And to which Phil Mickelson told him to go fuck himself, and later came back with a wad of cash and threw money at him.
He's basically like, I won this last weekend, and he threw him $90,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. It must be nice. He definitely doesn't have podcast money.
That's
Not like us.
That's Allen Iverson's stripper money.
Yeah.
I will say this about Jake Owen, though. His wife is a dime piece. Him, too.
Well done, Jake. Yeah, country stars these days have to be attractive. This is just the way it works. Gone are the days of Johnny Cash. The NHL playoffs are right around the race. Right around the corner.
Right around the
Right around the race.
Whatever he promised that they would.
Right around the race. And out of the race is our beloved Montreal Canadiens.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
They're basically.
They're 1 point out.
They are
No,
actually
they're
not basically
in.
out.
They're not at all
Okay.
basically in.
They are extremely in the running.
So,
Okay.
They have
So
2 games left.
I misread that article.
oops. Okay. So there's 3 teams left in the East.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you looked at the information I put on the
I
script,
did. Honestly, I started the morning with an article about the Canadians.
and that was the only thing that blanked.
It was either wrong or I read it wrong.
So there's 3 teams left in the East. They're Columbus, Carolina, and Montreal.
Mhm.
Carolina's in the lead. There's 2 out of those 3 teams are going to make the wild card. Carolina has 895 points. The Habs have 94, and Columbus has 94.
Tiebreaker is on what they call the row, which is basically wins and overtime wins.
Regulation.
Regulation and overtime
and
wins.
overtime wins. Yeah.
So right now Montreal is the last in that category. So
basically-
even if they tie Columbus, which is currently the case, they're last. If they tie,
Which is why the game against Columbus last week was such a big deal.
also Columbus has 2 more wins than Montreal does.
yes, exactly.
In general.
So Montreal plays Thursday night at Washington and then Toronto in Montreal. Columbus plays at New York and at Ottawa on Friday and Saturday night.
They
And
finish at
Carolina
Ottawa.
plays, I think it's at New Jersey on Thursday and then at Philadelphia on Saturday.
So basically, Montreal had the worst thing happen to them, is where they're the only team out of these 3 teams that are actually playing playoff teams. So, and they're playing Toronto like they always do the last game of the season.
Mhm.
But they're also playing who are they playing?
Washington.
New York? Washington.
That's not fun.
But they just beat Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay had a backup goalie.
But imagine
so kinda
Montreal
close.
getting 98 points. They can get 98. They can have 98 points and still not make the playoffs.
So
And on the other side,
here's the simplest scenario for Montreal. They're basically chasing Columbus. So they need to have a better record on the next 2 games than Columbus will in their 2 games. That's the easiest way to fret.
yeah, if
for
you
them to
get 3
in.
out of 4 and they get 2 out of 4.
Yeah,
The
'cause-
other way is Carolina tanks their games and Montreal manages to jump them somehow.
Somehow. But that won't happen. Carolina's really good.
Yeah. So the thing is, now I'm remembering the article. Given what they have left to play, and given Carolina and Columbus
the odds.
It's the odds. Odds makers are not kind to Montreal in this case. So they're alive,
Yeah.
but it's unlikely. Sorry, I paraphrased wrong. We do a lot of news items on Wednesdays.
And on the west side, you have Arizona is fighting with Colorado. But they're 4 points behind, so it looks like Colorado's going to stay in.
Yeah, and they lost a bad one last night, and both teams managed to win ahead of them. So they look like they're out. I think that Phoenix is out by like a good 4 points. It doesn't look likely for them.
That's it.
And they fell apart in that third period. It was just like it seemed bizarre for a team chasing a playoff spot
Yeah, that's it.
to play that poorly in the third period.
So, what do you think, Duke? Who's going to make it in Montreal, Columbus?
I honestly don't think the Canadians are going to make it in. I just feel like what's happening now is that Columbus has a much easier schedule, whereas like the Canadians have to essentially play 2 pretty strong playoff teams going into the playoffs, and usually those are games that these teams never take off.
Montreal's going to pull Claude Julien special. Montreal's going to pull a Claude Julien special and miss the playoffs by 1 point.
Oh yeah, that is his special.
It's his,
It'll be
it's
his
his
third
MO.
time in the last 5 years.
It's
MO?
it's the biggest blue balls you'll ever have.
I hope they don't make the playoffs.
Right, counterculture, Terry.
No, I hope they
In the
don't make
house.
the playoffs. I'm a season ticket holder. I
know you say every episode you're a season ticket holder.
financially.
He's
I
trying to sell his
want-
tickets on air.
Yeah, I
what
want
it is?
tickets. I got them. Financially, I want them to make the playoffs.
Right.
But I don't want them as a fan. I don't want them to make the playoffs because I'd rather them get that much percentage of a better draft pick.
Where are your seats located?
They're in the whites.
Okay.
The best thing
Center
about
ice, beautiful
this
seats.
iteration of the Canadians is that they did not invest heavily to make the playoffs. So if they miss, not a big deal.
But they knew they were going for next year. And if you look at what they're bringing in, they just signed Paling. They're going to sign Suzuki. Duke just ripped ass. You fucker.
Yeah. So what you're saying is,
So, yeah.
as we've been saying this
Next
whole
year.
time, Mark
Stanley Cup
Bergevin
next year.
got lucky.
No,
And continues to get lucky. We'll be back
Why is he lucky?
after this.
No, I like Bergevin.
We have a great interview on tap. It's
Yes, we
a
do.
fight night. We're talking to Emilio Greco of Between the Rounds.
in between rounds.
In Between Rounds, his podcast. Just a great listen. Episode 1 recently posted. He was on Concordia CGLO radio before that with his show. Really interesting guy. Looking forward to talk to him. We'll get to him next. Mark Bergevin, super lucky. And we're back. I'm Peeze, still. I haven't changed. I'm the same person.
Please change.
Nope, I'm amazing. Joined, of course, by my co-host Terry. Because we couldn't find talent in between the segments of this podcast, but we are joined now
Yes.
by Emilio Greco of In Between Rounds.
You nailed it, Peace.
Absolutely. Great podcast. You started with University Radio, right?
Yeah, started off on a radio. Got an opportunity while I was fighting. Got a couple injuries, and was blessed enough to start a radio show. And then ever since then, things just started taking a crazy turn.
Note from the producer. Hi, Emilio. How are you? Are you well?
Guys? I'm doing good.
That's from our producer, Eagle at Master Control.
He really cares how you're doing.
I'm curious. I'm a big fan of old school boxing. I was fortunate enough to be
Because you're old.
old enough to have enjoyed the run of Tyson and the tail end of George Foreman's career, watching Lennox Lewis, watching Evander Holyfield.
Mm-hmm.
Will boxing ever regain its quote-unquote glory days?
Sure.
Yeah, honestly, if you asked me that about a year or 2 years ago, I would say no. But I think right now the talent that there is in boxing, I think a lot of people are blindsided. There's Wilder, there's Fury, there's Anthony Joshua, there's Triple G, Canelo. There's so many names and so many different weight classes. The Charlo twins, there's so many stars and exciting fights. I could just go down the list, and I think it's gonna come back. I think it's definitely gonna come back as skill wise. You're seeing the top of the top right now. Obviously, in any sport, right? You're gonna talk about hockey, you're gonna talk about soccer. You're always gonna bring in those old school guys like, could this guy beat this guy? It's two different times, two different eras, but I think right now it's the most competitive era. And I think boxing, especially after the Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, a lot of people are now looking into boxing, which it should have been always looking to box even prior to that fight. But now, like I said, there's so many names and so many intriguing fights that I think boxing is going to get there. I think they have to change the rules, change the promotion, and stop making these stupid draws and these stupid scenarios happen. But besides that, I think it's definitely going to come back stronger than ever.
Yeah, I mean, boxing is always going to be. This is the conspiracy theorist coming out again.
Jesus Christ, you're the
it's
worst.
always going to be corrupt. Okay, but
They need a singular body looking over the sport.
exactly.
which is-
There's way too many organizations. There's
Yeah.
way too much money involved. The money you're not going to get rid of, but there's
money that's out of my pocket
Exactly,
on a
yeah.
constant basis.
So at the end of the day, I mean, when you look at Triple G and Canelo's first fight that it went to a draw was complete bullshit, and then you look at the Wilder Fury fight. I mean, I guess again the same thing. But at the end of the day, it's boxing is always going to be corrupt. And if we're looking at if we're looking at up and coming, boxing is not what it was, but it is getting there. And you look at the young guys. You mentioned Emilio. You mentioned the Charlo brothers. You know, not a lot of people know who they are, but they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know, Errol Spence too. Lomachenko to me is probably the best boxer I've ever seen. You know, with only 13 professional fights, but 4 million amateur fights. Who's the next up and coming guy that you like?
Man, there's I liked Mikey Garcia. You know, he was especially with his family. He had a big upcoming with his brother and his family. And you know, it's crazy because you have Earl Spence and Garcia. They had to fight. You know, you have these multiple-time world champions, and you know, it's unfortunate because one of these guys have to lose. And for me, I really thought that Garcia was gonna be, you know, the next wave. Even though that Earl Spence Jr. it was a complete domination on his part, but I really believe that he was really gonna pass the wave. Also, like I said, the Charlo twins, man. Charlo twins are they're crazy, man. It's pretty cool that you see brothers, you know, especially twins, get into the fight game and the hype that they bring to like you said, Lomachenko, man. This guy's, you know, he's not even at 20 fights yet professionally, but he had 100 fights amateur. This guy is his story is telling too. I think he's gonna bring a lot of eyes into boxing too, especially when you start learning about his background, that his father took him out of boxing for years just for Ukrainian dancing, and that's why he has that footwork, you know. It's crazy. I think a lot of these guys, even Gervonta Tank Davis, man, this guy too, under Mayweather, you know, him, he's a crazy knockout artist. So guys like these guys, you have to really watch out for.
Gervonta Davis, there's a lot of hype coming around him, and I think that the hype, I don't think his talent matches up against the hype, but he's still a great fighter. Don't get me wrong. I just think that he's been pumped up as the next guy, but there's so many other guys. You talked about Mikey Garcia, one of my favorite fighters, but he went up against Errol Spence, and Errol Spence is much bigger, and that's why he won. You know what I mean? If you look at the fight, it was just a domination. He's a much bigger guy. Who's the best pound for pound, if I had to ask you at this point? To me, I don't know. I got to think about it. I'll wait for your answer first.
You asked him. Let him answer the
Go,
question.
Emilio. It's on you.
I'm interested, man. I'm interested. Go ahead. I'm definitely interested in who you think
so my best,
is.
I mean, it's either Crawford or Lomachenko. And if I look at Lomachenko, what he's done against who at his size, I have to give it to him. But there's still so many other guys. But I'm going to say Crawford or Lomachenko.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of guys in the pound for pound list, man. It's always tough, even for MMA, for boxing. It's tough because you have like guys like Lomachenko. Like, yeah, he's pound for pound, but does pound for pound mean how skillful you are as a fighter? You know, how much noise you bring, or it's the type of guys that you've beaten. You know, you have a guy like Wilder. You know, he's knocked out guys that have incredible power, but you know, that whole fight with Fury maybe would have sidetracked him. But then, hey, Fury could be pound for pound, but the only guy he really beat, you know, was Klitschko. That was a big name guy. Same thing for Joshua, was kind of Klitschko. So it's kind of hard for top to top. But a guy that I always admire watching, and even for guys coming into boxing, I always say watch Lomachenko. You know, watching him, you're going to learn a lot about boxing. You're going to learn a lot about movement, distance, and you're going to learn a lot about footwork. And it's a crazy thing. If you want to get into boxing, watch this guy. So it's hard to say pound for pound, but a guy that I really admire watching is Lomachenko for sure, and Fury and Wilder for sure.
Yeah. So we're with Emilio Greco, host of In Between Rounds podcast.
You're fucking terrible.
I was getting there, man. It was good.
In between the rounds.
I kept saying in between the rounds.
Sometime where the rounds are.
Where the rounds occur. But yeah, it's a great podcast. I got into doing this because it got me the opportunity to talk to some very interesting people, yourself included, Emilio. Who are some of the most interesting guests you've had on your show?
Wow, man! Every guest that comes on, you always learn something new about them, and you know, as coming as a former fighter, and there's a lot of guys I admire, and you know, my first ever guest, Gary Goodridge, who was in the first couple of fights in UFC. You know, he was in Pride. He's an amazing guy too. You know, he was an amazing guy to talk to, and you know, Bruce Buffer, having him twice on the show was something incredible too. What a knowledgeable guy! What a kind-hearted guy too. Boss Rutan, Dan Hardy, Stipe Miocic, when he just won a title, came on the show, and that was
Terry's got a giant erection.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, that was a surreal moment. I think two moments that were kind of a surreal moments when Stipe Wonderbilly came on the show and we were talking, and it was kind of like I'm talking to the baddest man on the planet Earth, and it was just sinking in. And also when I was talking to Robert Whitaker, I had to be up at 4 a.m. because of Australian time trying to communicate with each other. But yeah, when I think he just defended it off Romero for the first time we spoke, and it was just giving chills because he was just, he's just a cool guy. He's just a regular guy, but he went through wars, knocking out guys. He's a phenomenal athlete, and there's so many guys. I think also to add, the guest I was scared of the most is when I spoke to Nagano before he fought Alistair. That was the scariest conversation I ever had because he calls like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Who is this?" He's like, "It's Francis Nagano." I'm like, "Oh, Francis?" I'm like, "Hey, man," and like you hear in his voice that this guy could, can knock
tear
you
you
out.
apart. Yeah,
Just
remove all of your limbs.
Yeah, it's a presence, but like a lot of guys. Boss Rutan came on the show a couple of times. We talk outside the show too. Is an amazing guy. So every guest that comes on, man, it always just leaves you in awe because these are guys you look up to. These are idols, and it doesn't matter who. Everyone coming on the show is just an honor. Even when I had my podcast a couple of weeks ago with Sandro Farron and Ariel Gallagher, people like that just admire you and just make you love the sport.
You're just showing off. Like you're just flexing on us at this point.
So okay, so you spoke to Stipe. I love Stipe, man. I think he's one of the best for sure. And you talked about him being the baddest man on the planet. Mm-hmm. How do you feel that he's not getting another shot now? That he lost his belt. He's the best heavyweight considerably of all time. How do you feel about that he's not getting the shot?
Oh man, it's disappointing because you see a lot of fighters, champions where they lose the belt and they get an automatic rematch.
Yeah.
Like Cody Garbrandt beat Dominic Cruz, didn't defend his belt. He went right away to TJ, got knocked out by TJ, and right away got a title shot. He never defended the belt once, and he got an immediate rematch. Where he has Stipe, who set the record, and he's trying hard to get the rematch, but DC's just it's bad because you have a guy at DC just wants money. He's retiring probably by the end of the year or next year, and he just wants a money fight. So unfortunately, Stipe is just a hardcore fighter. He doesn't care about the media, doesn't care about the recognition, just wants to fight. And it's very sad that he can't get that rematch because DC wants to fight guys like Brock Lesnar and maybe John Jones along the line. So I feel for the guy for sure.
Emilio, as you know, I'm the oldest fight fan in the room just because I'm the oldest in the room. But the reason I've had this burning question in my mind for years at this point, and I want to know your thoughts on this. Who's the actual hero? Cobra Kai or Daniel Russo?
Oh, fuck off.
Well, man, from watching How I Met Your Mother and watching Barney Stinson, man, you kind of go for Lawrence and the Cobra Kais. Yeah. But
they dedicate their life to the craft. And this douchebag Russo comes by. Oh, by the way, I learned this stupid move. It's probably illegal, by the way. Get the hell out of here.
Which doesn't even make sense because he stands on one leg and then he flips back. It doesn't even work.
Doesn't he kick with the leg that's broken?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Hey, man, it's weird because every time I watch that movie, my hatred of Daniel Russo grows each single time I watch it because, this guy comes in out of New Jersey, doesn't know how to fight. And he's going against a black belt, multiple-time champion, talking shit, trying to pull pranks on him in school. Like, come on, Daniel.
He was a bully. He was a bully. And you know what?
He was a bully, yes.
I've never respected New Jersey, and now I realize why. Because of Daniel goddamn Russo. Damn you, rough macho.
You fucking bite your tongue. There's a lot of people that came out of New Jersey.
Okay. Nobody cares about any of them because New Jersey is nothing but a strip mall. New Jersey is the strip mall of the universe.
But I remember watching Karate Kid for the first time and thinking, man, these Cobra Kai, they didn't do anything that bad.
Yeah,
they just defended themselves.
I know, and he just came into their dojo the first time and just interrupted their lesson for no reason.
Yeah, for no fucking.
Just being a jerk.
Yeah, he did. He interrupted the lesson.
Macho.
Also, maybe he was trained by an alcoholic. Bit problematic in 2019. How about you be more responsible around children? What's next for you and your podcast?
Well, you have me.
Oh man, anything I just go with the flow, and anyone that I find, just interesting in the game. I go and I know a lot of amateurs right now that are going pro. I know a lot of pro guys are now getting signed by the UFC. So I'm just spectating as a fan right now. I'm just enjoying what mixed martial arts is bringing. And when the time is right for me to ask somebody to come on the show, I'll do it. But there's no rush. I think that's why I left the radio game to come into podcast, because when you're in the radio, you're forced to do advertisements. You're forced to bring this person in at this specific time. Whereas a podcast, especially you guys know, you're in full control. You do it whatever time you want. You could do one podcast from 1 month to another one, or day by day. It's whatever you want, whatever you feel comfortable. So, sky's the limit. And, maybe have Bruce Buffer come on the show. I definitely would want to have him on a third time. There's a lot I would like to talk to him about. So, definitely him or Rich Franklin from one championship. Definitely want to ask him how the trades with Demetrius and Eddie played out. Yeah, I would definitely want to see what's going on.
That was a tough knockout for Eddie. But our graphicist Duke has a question for you.
Hey, Emilio. I hear that you have a black belt, and I myself have always wanted one, but I'm really lazy. So I'm wondering if there's a way that I can get one without actually training.
Well,
Amazon is the one way.
Just buy one.
But if I wear one and I don't have any training, am I gonna just run into random fights in the street if I'm wearing it?
Probably.
Well, if you're walking down the street with a black belt, I'm pretty sure no one's gonna try to start shit with you. But if you want a black belt quick, come by the gym. I'll make you spar against a top guy. If you could go 3 rounds with him and beat the rounds, man, we'll give you a black belt on spot.
Well, we can do an on location at the gym.
Nice.
And
Okay, how about this?
We'll film the fight.
How about we go to your gym and we put Duke and Peeze against each other. The winner.
Who can I pay to fight for me, Terry?
This
How
isn't
much?
this isn't Game of Thrones.
Listen, man, this is how I get through life.
But in a scenario where Duke actually does that and spars with someone, over under 30 seconds does he last?
Far under.
Well, depends on who's fighting. I think you can last 30 seconds on the ground. I think
A full MMA fight, man. It's your pick, man. I don't know how you fight. Anything's possible, right? It's a puncher sport.
Are razors allowed?
Prison fight
Can you
rules.
grab nuts? Because Duke loves grabbing nuts.
Yeah, there's nobody who milks a cock like my brother.
Yeah. He'll fucking grab that shit, man.
Also,
Grabbing
$29.99.
nuts is a long lost art, man. Grabbing
Yeah,
the nuts,
it is.
it's full technique and accuracy. So
Yeah,
They don't train the kids right anymore.
No, man. We've become soft.
Amazon's choice: karate black belt satin, $29.99. It's embroidered.
Satin?
Yeah, but what's the size?
I can find it.
Size, man. It's a fucking belt. It goes around your waist. What the fuck are you talking about?
It'll arrive by tomorrow.
It goes around your waist.
Okay.
So,
I'll just-
Emilio, we'll get some quick predictions from you before we let you go. So UFC 236 is coming up. Holloway and Poirier. Who do you got?
oof. Man, that's really tough. It's the odds that Dustin's an underdog. It's a big dog. It's kind of it's really hard because the first time he fought, Holloway was only 20 years old. Now he's 27. He hasn't lost since Conor. But the thing that scares me about Holloway, that whole Khabib incident, where he couldn't make the weight, something was wrong. He had to pull out of the fight with Ortega the first time. Ortega caught him in a couple of shots in his last fight. He got wobbled. If Dustin hits you, you don't get wobbled. You get knocked out cold.
Yeah.
But I think Holloway is one of the best fighters right now. Definitely, he's top 5 pound for pound. I would really go for Holloway. I think Holloway has he's a better mixed martial artist. I think he's well-rounded. He's a volume puncher. He has the confidence. He's a young guy. He's in his prime. I'm probably gonna go for Holloway, but don't be surprised if Poirier could shut the lights off at any moment. So
I've always been a fan of Poirier since the beginning.
Next prediction: Game of Thrones. Who sits on it by the end of the season?
Ooh.
Oh man. Honestly, I would think that it's that's harder than the Max Holloway does.
You know why? Because
We ask all the hard-hitting questions
That's
here.
hard. That's hard because it's anyone's game. Like I would really like it if it was like the White Walkers. I would really like it if they
Night
sat
Game?
on the throne at the end.
Oh,
yeah,
that'd
like
be cool,
he's with all the dragons. he eventually takes all 3 dragons. He's just on the throne. He's just chilling, and like he has like Jon Snow on a leash in the corner, like you know what I mean, like a gangster shit. Like that'd be pretty awesome.
Fuck, I like it. Let's go back to real life.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you mean? Night King's real, bro.
Let's go. Okay, so out of the big 3 in the heavyweight, okay, now they're all fighting scrubs. We saw Wilder sign with, he stayed with Showtime. Fury signed with ESPN. It's all fucking bullshit. They're all over the place. Out of those top 3, Joshua, Wilder, and Fury, if they did like a 3-way round robin fight, like they each fight each other once, who comes out on top?
Well, if the Fury Wilder fight, Fury won that fight, even though there was the knockdowns. Fury won every other round, so mathematically, Fury won that fight. So I would say Fury beats Wilder. Now, Fury against Joshua, I talk about this a lot with a lot of different people, and I think that Joshua is too big. You know, Wilder has that reach, and he's very long, and there's not a lot of muscle that he goes with for 12 rounds. So I wasn't surprised when Wilder went the distance and wasn't really gassing out. Whereas Joshua, I think Joshua puts that. I don't believe Joshua could put that pressure on Fury for 12 rounds. I think he has too much muscle. I think when he swings and misses, it's going to tire him out much more than Wilder. And I really believe that Fury could beat Joshua. I think Fury could beat both Wilder and Joshua. Yeah. And a fight between Joshua and Wilder, I think Wilder has the advantage.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think that I agree with you when it comes to Fury. I think he's the best out of all 3. He's the best pure boxer anyway. Best footwork by far. Joshua's a crazy athlete, so is Wilder. I think Joshua has it on Wilder because he's more of a boxer too. He's more technical than Wilder is, you would say. But I agree with you. I agree. You can't.
No, I agree with that for sure. Joshua has a traditional boxing base and stance, and the way he fights is technically the right way. The fight for a boxer is kind of weird because there's no right way to fight. But he kind of has the right base of boxing, whereas Wilder kind of just loops. But while he loops, that's his advantage because he catches you, and you saw what happened to Fury. You know, like I don't know what it is. It's called luck, Jesus, God, whatever it is. He does that to any other man. That guy's not getting up. But Fury is Undertaker. Oh man, that was.
I was standing on my couch. I was freaking out when I saw that. It was the craziest thing ever.
So,
oh man, that was insane.
Emilio, where can people find? You said you haven't done a podcast in a while. Where can people find the archives of your podcast?
Man, go on YouTube. Go In Between Rounds. You can check out the website too. inbetweenrounds.net. Go follow me on Instagram, In Between Rounds, or go to my personal one, Mills Grex. You know, you face me on. You can friend me on Facebook, man. It's not hard to find. So I'm willing to chill, talk to anybody about this game. I love it so much, and if you have the same passion as me, man, we're already cool.
The passion comes through clear, obviously. Emilio Greco, thank you for joining us. This has been Emilio Greco of In Between Rounds. Thank you for joining us on Hot Sauce Sports.
Yeah, man. Thank you, guys.
And we're back. That was an awesome interview with Emilio Greco of In Between Rounds. I'm with Terry Tam, my co-host, producers Eagle and Master Control,
Duke.
And Duke needs a title.
No title.
We're not smart people. We're not.
No.
It's been pretty obvious since we started this project. We haven't looked dumber.
According to the feminist at my coffee shop, all men are dumb. So,
well, then we're average.
Yep.
Yes, amongst the middle. We proved that we were the most middle last week when we came out with our hot takes of what would happen in the tournament, in the Elite Eight, and in the Sweet 16. And my God, were we wrong about everything?
No, I was right.
Let's listen back to see how
true.
right we were, Terry.
I got Duke loses to Virginia Tech. Zion goes under 15 points. So I got one. So we're going to write this down.
So you didn't score Virginia lose after scoring only 46 points in the Elite Eight because you can't keep playing that style.
46 points.
46 points. That's all you're going to score. You can't keep playing that ball control style. Eventually, you're going to need to have to make plays.
Good job, bud.
Not going to happen.
So all number 1 seeds will be eliminated by the Final Four. So there will be no number 1 seeds in the Final.
This is why we're bad at gambling.
I was close.
We're so bad at gambling.
Virginia almost lost. Auburn and NC go to quadruple overtime.
Quadruple
overtime, and Auburn.
Mark Few loses keys, doesn't attend the game.
He shouldn't have.
Can't get to the Elite Eight game.
It's too much.
Yeah, that's too far.
So Auburn
Cassius Winston
lost
at
Michigan
Michigan
State. Is going to score 35 plus points. Did he? No, he didn't. In his next.
Go for it.
Oregon becomes the lowest seed ever to make the Final Four. Nope.
So we were wrong.
I got 2.
You got.
Oh, I didn't get the quadruple.
I mean,
overtime.
Mark Few basically lost his keys.
He did. Yeah.
So I got 1. Yeah, and that's what you laughed at me for, by the way. You laughed at me for that one. Man, was I wrong about Virginia? I was watching that game. It was
a good game, though. Very good game.
I was laughing because of how wrong I was. I couldn't believe how wrong I was.
Yeah, but they're
They
all
just kept
hypothetical.
allowing shots from everywhere.
We should get Carlin out to talk about his Gonzaga pick.
Well, we'll get him on being the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll get him on soon. Yeah, he was right about Gonzaga, and he was
Wrong.
Oh, he was wrong about Gonzaga, right about
Yeah,
Duke.
He's right about Duke.
Yeah, he was convinced Gonzaga was the best team in the country, and that's
A
why.
lot of people were, though.
Honestly, like the Final Four, I get that it doesn't have the storylines we've all been looking at. All
They've
season
never
long.
made the Final Four.
Yeah, they haven't. They haven't.
Even when they had, what's the name of that redneck with the mustache?
Success has been few and far between. One could say.
Type in Gonzaga mustache, and you'll find his name. He played in the NBA.
Gonzaga mustache.
Gonzaga mustache. Dave.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that guy.
Adam Morrison.
Adam Morrison.
Thanks, Duke.
We got some.
Thanks, stat guy.
We got some. Duke at stats. Duke stats. The Duke of stats.
The Duke of Stats.
You got it.
Or your name is Zion. We're calling you Zion. The albino Zion.
6'8" though. My dick.
It's time for rapid fire. Let's go. Give it to us.
Read them out loud.
Yeah. you caught me by surprise there, boys.
How?
So Jeff Bezos looking to buy the Knicks.
People are saying that this is the best thing that can happen for this team. It's just money. Like, I understand James Dolan is annoying. I don't know how much influence he has on how the team is built.
Who the fuck is Charles Oakley to the Knicks?
He's one of the greatest Knicks of all time. It's a bad history. There's
No,
not
but like,
been a lot
is
of
he
great
like a
Knicks.
GM or something?
No, he's not even allowed in the
So
building.
why is he
He's
in-
banned from the building.
So why is he in every news article that I read about this?
Well, no, he's just a prominent player in the Knicks history. That's what you need to know.
It's like Kobe saying.
In a different time of basketball too.
It's like what Kobe
hates
saying.
on
Kobe
my
saying
boy Dolan.
X would be the next coach of the Lakers. for
Oh, you
example.
would never fuck with Charles Oakley.
Yeah, I
he
would
hates.
ever.
He hates on my boy Dolan, Charles Oakley.
Your boy Dolan.
Your boy
Go fuck
Dolan?
himself. Love Dolan.
Dolan doesn't
Okay.
have boys.
After he pulled that fucking
Counterculture Terry.
After he pulled that big dick move and knocked that and kicked that guy out of the arena, love him.
Yeah, that was good. I had no
Yeah.
problem with that.
Yeah,
And I hate Dolan, but I had no problem with that.
that's what I'm saying. Big dick Dolan.
You put the K's in counterculture Terry.
So the next,
Obvious transition.
it wasn't so obvious to me. Rapid fire. No car,
That's fine.
no car, no problem. Raiders potentially trying to trade for Kyler Murray.
So trade up
Trade up.
to get Kyler Murray.
But what are they trading?
Well,
Because Derek Carr won't do it.
No,
They
that's what I'm
won't cut
saying.
it.
So it will probably swap first and Carr as well.
all right.
That's what I would see happening,
Down
but
there.
I don't think.
I
It's
just,
gonna happen.
to me, it seems like a sabotage job by John Gruden. He came in, dismantled the team, gave him nothing to work with, and expected what? Expected him to rise above these challenges? No.
No.
It's a crapshoot from the beginning. John Gruden never had an interest in keeping Derek Carr, and this is proof.
But I also think that John Gruden, his style fits Derek Carr better than it fits Kyler Murray's, and I still think Kyler Murray's going to be.
Well, because John Gruden's going to do the caveman thing, right? He's going to have him come in and be like, hey, let's get Kyler Murray in to do the thing I want you to do. I'm not going to put you in the best situation to succeed with your skill set. You're going to force your skill set into my system.
and Kyler Murray is going to be a bust.
If he goes to Oakland.
I feel like in this
Anyway.
show. I feel like in this show, whenever we say the word, the name Calamari, it comes out as calamari.
Calamari.
I'm hungry.
Also, whenever we talk about Calipari, same thing. Two
Calipari-
Two
Calipari.
guys, same person.
Calipari,
Bryce
lifetime
Harper.
contract.
Bryce Harper returns to DC.
I would love Eagle to have played the clip I put. I
But he's,
did.
he's building pom poms.
But it's okay. It's okay. Eagle. Fine. There was.
Bryce Harper moves to DC. So his first game back, bat flip, but before that,
2 strikeouts.
Washington, yes, 2 strikeouts. But the Washington fans booing him.
Oh, they ruined him.
Oh man, they're gonna be playing each other good 100 times this year. So let's
They
see how that
ruined him.
goes.
Not 100, but they'll be playing several times. I want to say it's 19 games.
I'd say more than 19. I'd say probably
Nah,
13.
you
30.
can look it up.
I'll look it up after.
So yeah. So I love the bat flip.
Yeah.
It's
I
like-
think everyone should flip a bat. Like, I would flip a bat after a strikeout. Be like,
And-
yeah.
It's good after he's getting booed. He went up to bat twice. He gets booed, gets a single, gets a double, knocks it out of the park. They win 8-2. Beautiful. Flip your fucking bat, man.
I love
but they lost. So.
I love the Philly press being as trash as Philly people.
Yeah.
They come up with the headline next day saying, sorry, National, he's ours now. You've been ripping him in your newspaper ever since he signed the contract, just as the ink was drying.
Right.
And now you're like, oh, he's ours now.
What I don't like especially about it is that so the Washington fans are mad. They're big mad about the fact that Harper didn't want to sign with them. But the thing about it is about what the Nationals were
Enterprise.
offering deferred payments until he was in his 70s.
Yeah.
Like the Washington Nationals.
Bobby Bonilla special.
Yes, the Nationals offered the same amount of years.
Center field. How about this for a homecoming? That is crushed into the second deck for Bryce Harper.
Bad flip.
And he gives those Phillies fans a chance
Yeah,
to
and he
jump
knocks
up
it in.
and down.
And you hear they're in Washington. You see how here how loud it is? He knocked it into his cheering section.
I don't mean to tell you how to do your job, but I need to when you're incompetent. You can wait for someone to finish speaking and then play a clip.
No. I loved it.
And use a visual cue
You
to let us
fucking-
know you're playing a clip.
You fucking nailed it.
What can I throw at him that's not expensive?
Everything's
this
expensive.
coffee's not done yet. And Starbucks is pretty expensive, so fuck you.
But yeah,
nothing then.
deferred payments.
You're
till
not
the
even
70.
worth the Starbucks.
But like, would you accept a contract? Would you want to take on a contract where a team is paying you until you're
Nah,
8
give
years
me
old?
money. Give me money now. Give me money now.
Fucking love
The thing is, I really hope they're enjoying his April and they're gonna enjoy his May, because that's when Bryce Harper does all of his work, and that's all we'll hear from him for the rest of the season. Get all your backflips in while you can.
Next.
Big three in Golden State get fined.
So the big boys got fined because they were complaining about the refs.
Yeah, non-stop complaining.
So
This is after the team suspended what's his name, Jordan Bell,
yeah.
Yeah,
for sending a tab to his assistant coach. It's amazing.
Steph Curry gets $25K fine. Durant $15K. Draymond Green $35K.
But what did Draymond do? I know what the other two guys said.
Did
but I
you,
don't know
you
what
need to
Draymond
know
said.
what he did? Just say his name and you know what he did.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot.
He punched the dick again.
Probably kicked it. No, so Steph Curry and KD said that the refs were the MVPs of the game, kind of thing. Is that? I mean, that money is peanuts to these guys, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, but at the end of the day, why are they getting fined? The league has these refs in place. They're allowed to be criticized.
So my theory is they're allowed to be criticized if the refs can criticize the players.
Sure.
Like, yeah, I was reffing that game, and my God,
Sure.
were they trash this week.
Carrie Frazier, known for criticizing players, never, but two different leagues. But never,
But hockey
ever.
exists in
hockey's
its own
different.
planet. Players can do what they want. Refs can. It's a wild west of sports.
So
Like
yeah,
the
so
NBA,
the
the
NBA
NBA,
refs-
there's no way a ref can criticize.
No,
players.
they won't.
Ever.
But
It'll never
but
happen.
It should be though. So let's say,
100%.
but the refs don't get interviewed. They don't get interviewed.
But they would if they ripped on
Yeah,
players.
exactly. But I just to
KD
change-
more like a K Snake.
just to change subjects. I think that for refs in like the UFC or boxing, if they stop a fight prematurely or did something that ended the fight and there was a controversy, they should be able to answer questions. The same thing should be for all sports.
Yeah.
Because we're either way we're paying fans, right? We're paying customers, so we should be able to voice our opinion like we're able to, and they should be able to voice their opinion as well. At the end of the day, they're humans just like us. They should be able to criticize, make things get better. Because if they're told to just shut the fuck up and play basketball, how bad is that? That these refs are going to get away with shitty calls.
And here's the other part of it. Get away with it, not get away with it, doesn't actually matter. We're talking about like literally the last 2 seconds of the NBA season.
Yeah.
To me the thing is, I look at the situation and when you have players actually say something, you find them. So what you actually want is players to go up there and say nothing. Why are you obliging them to go to press conferences?
Yeah,
then?
exactly.
They're going to go up and say nothing.
That was my next point.
I don't care about giving 120%.
Only say
living for my
positive
teammates.
shit.
Don't care about that shit.
Yeah.
Rip on somebody. That's all we want to hear.
Only say positive stuff and you'll be fine.
Yeah, but the Warriors are super annoying, so they deserve
They
it.
are, but I like Curry's attitude. Curry's attitude in all this is always their bullshit. Is like he just doesn't take bullshit, I find. Where the other guys are they sound like more like babies and stuff. But I love the way Curry addresses the refs, and he does it all the time, and he doesn't hold back any punches.
He's very straightforward.
Yeah, kind of like Popovich, which I love. How many times has Popovich
and
been
Popovich
fined?
is probably going to get fined.
Yeah.
For last night.
With DeMar.
Lawyer Malloy or whatever.
Lawyer Malloy.
Not Lawyer Malloy.
DeMar DeRozan?
DeMar DeRozan and Popovich are going to get fined for their. During the game, they had a problem with one of the refs. I forget his name. This guy Malloy.
Yeah, he's a shitty ref.
He's
Did
awful.
you see the way he
He's
teed him
awful.
up?
How?
He teed him up like
By using his middle finger.
no, it wasn't his middle finger. He did one of these.
Oh, I thought it was.
No,
I thought it was
his
middle finger.
but I watched it again. He did one of these. You know, if I'm a ref and I want to tee somebody up,
Yeah.
I'm fucking teeing him up.
Show us how you can tee him up.
One of
Peace.
those.
Let's go. Tee him up.
Right there. Um,
One of those.
Next up.
Yeah, next one.
Johnny
Go.
Manziel.
you're the one who does it.
Johnny Manziel. Next up.
Johnny Manziel. So
Penis.
he's done. He's done in the NFL.
Everywhere.
He's done in the CFL.
Done.
He's banned from the league. I didn't know you could be banned from the league. The reason he got banned, by the way, was he was looking for a contract in the AAF while he was under contract with CFL.
Not the only reason.
That's the public reason he
Yeah,
was
that's
banned.
the public reason. But that's not
So
the reason.
I understand. The thing is, like, you can't, while employed, use your time as an employee and go look for a job.
Why not?
It's literally it's a reason for firing in any position.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
If that's why I got fired.
Work time,
Is that it?
you can't be using time you're being paid for to look for another job.
Okay, using time you're being paid for.
Yeah.
But what if he wasn't being paid and he's just at home and he's just Googling other jobs?
I think part of his job is to be at home and not get in trouble.
Which he wasn't doing, which is why he
Yeah.
got kicked out of the league.
Which stories we can't tell on there. I will say that a lot of times we're guys who are going to be cheerleaders for people trying to get their career on track, trying to get their lives on track.
Except for Johnny Manziel.
We haven't. No, but the thing is, we can't say why. We haven't from league sources that wasn't the case.
Yes, from a few sources.
So it wasn't the case for Johnny Manziel. He wasn't committed to getting his career back on track. Wasn't committed to getting better, and that's why he's not playing anywhere.
Maybe the concussion will knock some sense into him.
No,
That's not concussion.
concussion, he's out. AAF looks like they're going to be folding. It's a shame because I like watching their games on NFL Network.
But the
I
thing-
watch them.
I watched a couple too. The thing is with
Yeah.
the AAF is when you can't make payroll, that's
Yeah.
a sign the company's closing in any industry.
Yeah.
and it was true here
Too many
as
cons.
we've seen.
But there was a lot of people watching games. They probably gave them away.
It's just not. They're paying players too much money for the amount of revenue.
You know what?
But you know what? You know the thing is, the owner of the league actually, he did it to get intellectual property for the
Yeah.
for some of the technology that they're using. So he doesn't. He's taking a $70 million loss
Yeah.
and expecting to make more money from technology
That's
that he
crazy.
gained from AF, which is
Yeah,
amazing.
Smart move by
Which
him.
seems like where the most of their budget went to is technology.
Technology.
As opposed to anything else.
Well, but they're going to.
But I love the way they did it too. I had tweeted about it when I was watching, and it was there was a penalty. Or was it a penalty? I forgot what it was, but they went up to the booth, and you hear the booth talking to the ref, and you see what they're saying. Oh, it was a catch. It was a catch. And they were
So
seeing
$70 million on a microphone.
pretty much. No, but I'm just saying, like, there's little things that they did that the NFL can use, but because the NFL is so fucking rigged, they'll never show you.
Rigged.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Rigged.
Well, not
my
every
God.
game, but
Conspiracy.
there's a lot of.
Every time.
Counterculture, Terry.
You're telling me the NFL, there's not anything rigged in the NFL?
I don't think there's a purpose. They make money anyway.
No.
There's not a reason to rig a
You're
game.
telling me it's a coincidence
Who benefits?
that in 2001,
Oh my God, 2001.
Oh,
Nobody
yeah,
cares.
let's
Nobody
go.
cares. Nobody
Let's
cares.
go.
if you
Nobody
in
cares.
2001, it's sad, but 9/11 happened. All of a sudden, the Patriots
Hey.
I mean, but they've also won
start
several times.
start dominating that year. Invent a rule.
They didn't invent the rule.
They invent the rule
It was a
live.
proper-
The tuck rule.
You know, that was the proper application.
No,
of
it
the
was
rule at
not.
the time. Absolutely, it
No,
was.
they changed the rule after. No,
They changed it after to make it illegal.
No, to make it legal that if you tuck the ball.
Now that's a fumble. At the time, that wasn't considered a fumble.
But they changed it. But exactly.
They changed it after that season because of the
No, but they
catastrophe.
called it as if it was the next season, as if the rule had changed.
No.
Yeah. So what they said
No,
was
they called
so
it incomplete pass.
he went. No.
Yeah, they called it incomplete
No,
pass
no,
for
so-
Tom Brady.
I'm on Terry's side.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
all about it, man. I'm
Yeah,
all
yeah,
about
he's a Raiders
So
fan.
conspiracies.
who gains from this conspiracy?
So the
Who gains?
the president
The president
Oh,
gains.
shit.
called in Paul
Different presidents.
Tagliabue.
Fucking Trump, man.
It was Bush at the time. Bush called in Paul Tagliabue, and he's
Oh,
like, "Listen,
fuck.
we need some Patriot shit.
Yeah.
We need it."
Need it.
I've never been more terrified to be your
not
friend.
the Cowboys, America's team, but the Patriots.
Well, the Cowboys were shit. They had Quincy Carter as a quarterback that year. It was fucking brutal.
So it's not that Tom Brady was a great quarterback.
Oh, you're very
It
good.
was like
quarterback.
Quincy Carter
Unknown
sucked.
quarterback at that
Yeah.
time, actually.
It's fixed.
So his entire career is fake.
No, just that year.
So then he was good the rest of his career.
Yeah. He was good those years also. Like, but I'm saying is that rule came down, and you'll never see. My point is, you'll never see what happens on the back end of the NFL. Where in the AAF, they threw it out there. They're like, just watch.
Oh, it's all about the AF here. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what the point of this is.
Yeah.
So the next topic.
Wait,
Next topic.
Is Vince
my
McMahon
God.
lining up in the bankruptcy line with the AAF, or is he?
Shut up!
giggling?
You don't understand what the word rapid
he
means.
probably got all his money back.
Right.
Rapid.
Miami social media
Christ,
influencer
David.
arrested in Colombia on money laundering charges.
Yeah, so you sent me this article. I had to read
Right.
it. Yeah.
To read
So
it.
this chick, she goes to the University of Miami.
Yeah.
But her family's from Colombia.
Yes.
Her father declares $36,000 a year.
Yes.
And
Working at the docks. Working at the docks, taking
docks,
bribes.
But he hasn't been declaring all the money he's
Totally,
made.
yeah.
And this girl's driving around Miami doing whatever the fuck
Oh, she's
she
got a
wants.
Lamborghini.
Yeah. And I mean,
She's spending the money, the money, and
whatever.
posting it all over social media.
all over.
I
so-
don't
So
understand.
the IRS just sees it and they're like, let's look into this.
Yeah,
I don't understand the concept of a social media influencer.
it's a person who posts and they think that people want them.
No,
want to.
but clearly they do because enough people keep doing it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, there's money in it.
Absolutely.
If
But
you're beautiful,
why?
if you're beautiful and you have lots of money, I mean, some companies really do. They really like to have people, especially rich people, walk around with their purses and stuff. So they will usually send these
Well, like Khloe
social media.
Kardashian, she fucking posted with some fit tea
But
bullshit.
why would anybody care?
That's not good for you when we know that all you did was liposuction.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
So Terry seems very invested in this.
oh yeah, I have no idea, man.
In social media.
Conspiracy theories.
But the thing that a lot of people
Kim
tend to get stuck
Kardashian.
on.
So the
Kardashian-
president, did the president call Chloe?
Yes.
And get her to get liposuction.
He's like, listen, my niece started this company called Fit Tea. I need you to fucking put it out there. We'll pay you $1 million a post. That's what happened. Look into it. It's on YouTube.
And I think the thing about this
Flat
though,
stomach theory.
Exactly.
the reason why I love this story so much is I feel like people tend to forget that the IRS and a lot of these government entities they will use your Instagram against you, and
Well, that's
it's like some people forget that that's actually proof in court. There you go, Eeks.
Public.
Yeah, it's public. No, but
Unless your
they
account's
don't know.
private, then it's still public.
Yeah, and so I find it strange. It's one of these things I don't understand. But I'm the old guy in the room, I guess, and maybe that's
Old as
why.
fuck.
She had in one picture she had a Lambo.
Yeah.
She had two purses that were worth about $500-600 each. Plus she had a Fendi watch, which is about $2,000.
They can all be knockoffs, though. So
Good, but
never
they're
know.
not.
Just
But
like my
the-
Ty Carrera.
The Lambo is not a knockoff, that's for sure.
Fair.
Right.
That
It's
brings
it's
us
a
to
ladder.
basket case. Once in a while, Duke, when he remembers, has topics.
Show the basket.
It's in a basket. He puts them in his basket.
Are we pulling them out of here?
We're pulling them out and answering them. So Terry, you do the honors. You pull the first one.
So while you guys pull it, I'll explain. So on the paper, there's a question, and at the bottom there's an FYI, and that's my opinion on the matter.
Favorite drunk snack? Your FYI is pretzels dipped in marinara sauce.
Pickles.
Pretzels dipped in marinara sauce.
Yeah, man.
Pickles.
My favorite drunk snack is a Nutella sandwich with slices of banana and cinnamon,
That's amazing.
and just slightly toasted with a glass of like milk or almond milk.
Now,
That's amazing.
when I lived alone, every once in a while I have a Friday night where I didn't feel like going out. I go to Costco, get a big jar of pickles, giant case of beer, play video games till 4 in the morning, get hammered, eat pickles.
Great. I like that.
Worst way to die, Duke's FYI, stuck in a wall plus starvation. Both things.
Yeah, both. Yeah. Worst way to die?
Yeah.
Drowning.
Death by paper cuts.
That would
Most
suck.
hated player of all time in any sport, I guess. You put fuck you, Tom Wilson. I actually love Tom Wilson.
Yeah, fuck you also.
Love Tom Wilson. Most hated player of all time, I'm going to have to say, it has to be Christian Leitner, even though I love him.
Aaron Hernandez killed people.
No, but we're talking about on
Yeah,
field, on
yeah,
court.
come on, man.
Sean Avery. I'll go Sean Avery.
Try fitting
Sean
in for
Avery's
once.
great guy. Man. What are you talking
But
about?
he's largely hated, even by other players in the league.
Yeah, I guess so.
Martin Brodeur refused to shake his hand.
So he actually, he was on Instagram.
I heard it this week. It's
Instagram
an
this
screen
week. Did you see what he did?
No.
Sean Avery?
No, and
So Sean Avery, he lives in New York, and he's riding his bike, and there's a guy and a woman. They're standing in the bike lane, and he's recording them. He's like, "Get the fuck off the bike lane, you fat fuck!" he's like, "Move it, fatso." I was like, "Eek, "This guy's brutal." Team shrimp or team lobster? Crab is king, though. I'm gonna say shrimp guy.
Yeah,
but
it's
like,
easy.
I like those tiger shrimps. There.
I'm shrimp if it's size 8 to 12. That's all I eat. What's worse, ghost calls or Jehovah's Witnesses? Well, we're not going to hate on religion, so ghost calls. Duke
No,
says-
Jehovah's Witnesses. Absolutely.
Duke says
Yeah.
Girl Scouts are even worse. I mean, they have awesome cookies. I buy them every single time. I eat them a sleeve at a time, so I'm not going to go Girl Scouts. What's worse for me is getting tickets in the mail.
What's yours for you?
The worst thing about this, the reason why I wrote it, is that my dog, whenever someone rings the doorbell and I open the door just a little bit, he just runs out and he just starts smelling people's crotches. The last thing I want is to pull him
You have
off a little
shit-ass
girl.
pug.
Yeah, he acts
So what you're
crazy.
saying is dogs are the worst.
Yeah. One more.
Yeah, there's one more.
This one has chocolate on it? Is the government tracking my Fitbit, or am I being paranoid? Fitbit needs to stop busting my balls. So no, you're just completely out of shape.
You're not doing enough exercise.
You're completely out of shape.
That's the only
and
thing we could say.
The government does not want you to be in shape. That's what you're trying to tell me.
But I'm just trying to say, like, maybe
Well,
they're
we have
tracking.
Medicare, so maybe in our country they want
They
you
want you to be out of shape.
in shape, so that to not use Medicare.
Absolutely.
They're fucking tracking me.
Last question: do you like self-checkout machines? FYI, fuck robots.
Self-checkout machines?
Yeah, you go to the store and you got to check out your groceries. Yeah.
If it's like 2 items, yeah.
I feel like it's more work. It's longer. It takes me longer.
And no, if I don't have any produce.
They was gonna come and check my ID because I'm always buying beer. It's a problem.
But what stops them from? Let's say I don't check in an item. Like let's say a grapefruit where there's no tag.
Well,
where are you holding it? You're holding it in your hand?
No, but I put it in and I just put it
Where are you
inside the
gonna put it?
basket.
No, because
No,
as
it
soon
weighs
as you
it.
put anything in,
It
it weighs
knows.
it.
I'm gonna try this out, guys. I'm try it out.
Yeah,
Try
you're
some-
gonna get
I'm
arrested.
gonna steal some
It's
grapefruit.
smarter than you.
You're gonna get arrested because of a grapefruit.
The system is smarter than all of us.
Thank you all. This has been Hot Sauce Sports. You're Terry. I'm Peeze. I said it the wrong way. Remember,
Website.
we got a new website. Go to hotsaucesports.ca. I forgot to talk about it. We'll talk about it next week. Till then, like, rate, subscribe. See you next week. You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports.